Good morning, America. For our viewers in the West, protests spread across the country.
A Good Samaritan's fiery roadside rescue.
And one dog's major league game of fetch. Overnight protests in major cities across the nation. Boston, Chicago, Denver, New York City, mostly peaceful. Los Angeles clamps down, putting a curfew into effect. Roughly 300 people detained, as Governor Gavin Newsom accuses President Trump of intentionally fanning the flames. The president defends his unprecedented show of force and issues a new warning to anyone who might protest his military parade this weekend.
Breaking overnight, the U.S. and China agreeing to a framework in trade talks, what it means and what comes next.
Growing reaction after Health Secretary Kennedy fired everyone on the crucial CDC advisory committee that helps set vaccine recommendations. Current and former CDC employees protest outside headquarters.
Fiery roadside rescue.
Get out! No! Where you at?
A Good Samaritan and a police officer racing to save a woman trapped in an overturned car engulfed in flames. We hear from the driver who was in the right place at the right time.
Door-kicking challenge alert. Police warn teens they could end up in legal trouble or worse. Plus, the new study on popular weight loss medications. What did and did not happen when people stopped taking them early.
Soda wars bubbling up. How Coca-Cola is taking on Dr. Pepper and other rivals, bringing back an old fan favorite. We'll tell you where to find it.
And the major call-up for this golden boy. How Bruce just hit the big time.
Live from Times Square, it's Wednesday. Good Morning America.
Had to get that stat in there, didn't you?
Good boy, Bruce, and Good Morning America. That was fun to watch. And Sam Champion's going to be here to tell us more about Bruce the Bat Dog. We also have new details on Apple's new iPhone features, including an AI-powered translation tool.
Also ahead, Ginger, standing by, tracking the fires in the West and the flood alerts down south.
We are going to begin, though, with the protests against immigration raids, which are spread across the country right now. Sixth day in Los Angeles. Last night, L.A. Mayor Karen Bass declared a curfew for 1 square mile of the city's downtown, citing what she called widespread vandalism, as California Governor Gavin Newsom condemned President Trump's deployment of the military as a brazen abuse of power.
Our chief White House correspondent, Mary Bruce, is standing by with more on the president's response to the situation in L.A. But first, our chief national correspondent, Matt Gutman, starts us off with the latest on the ground there. Good morning, Matt.
Robert, good morning. LA's mayor imposing that curfew on parts of downtown as a response to recent looting here. And as you just mentioned, those protests that began right behind me here now expanding nationwide. That is, Governor Gavin Newsom is calling the deployment of those federal troops you see behind me a brazen abuse of power. Overnight, the protests which have rocked downtown Los Angeles spreading across the country in response to the Trump administration's immigration crackdown.
Hands off our students!
From Boston, Seattle, and D.C. to Milwaukee.
No Trump! No ICE! No fascist USA!
In Chicago, a car driving through a group of demonstrators. In New York City, police and protesters clashing, officers pushing protesters back. While the majority of protests have been peaceful, in Los Angeles for a fifth consecutive night, mounted police officers swarming protesters as that curfew kicked in. Governor Gavin Newsom claiming Tuesday that democracy is under assault, requesting a federal court block President Trump's unprecedented military mobilization.
Donald Trump's government isn't protecting our communities. They're traumatizing our communities.
L.A. Mayor Karen Bass issuing a curfew for downtown L.A. that could last several days, hoping it'll stop vandalism and looting of businesses.
Law enforcement will arrest individuals who break the curfew, and you will be prosecuted.
But protesters continue to pour into the streets of downtown L.A.
The LAPD has allowed several hundred protesters here to meander pretty freely right down the streets of downtown Los Angeles for several hours now. The one thing they have not allowed them to do, descend down to the 101 freeway.
And when hundreds of protesters briefly blocked traffic on the 101, police pounced. Late Tuesday, we spoke with LAPD Chief Jim McDonnell.
Do you need the help from the thousands of federal troops? No, they're on a separate mission. Our mission.
You don't need their help, is what you're saying.
We have a protocol in place for doing what we're doing today, and that's we mobilize the department or parts of the department. We've done that, and then to request mutual aid. We did that last night. We brought in members of 14 different police agencies from throughout Southern California. They are supplementing our officers out in the field, doing a variety of different assignments, but crowd management and crowd control is a big part of that.
Later, a demonstrator telling me that one of her family members was taken by ICE while at the grocery store.
They don't say anything. They don't call family, let anybody know what's going on. You just got to find out in the news if your loved one's missing.
And LA's police chief also saying that we're not going to see Marines or National Guard troops out here on the streets interacting with protesters. He says that will remain the jurisdiction of local law enforcement. But Governor Greg Abbott of Texas saying that he is going to deploy the National Guard to various spots across Texas to handle anticipated protests there. George.
Okay, Matt, thanks. Let's get more on this from Mary Bruce. Morning, Mary.
George, good morning. Well, as the president prepares for his big parade this weekend, a celebration of American military might, this morning President Trump is doubling down on his use of the armed forces to quell civilian protests.
President Trump overnight defending his unprecedented show of force in Los Angeles, making it clear that the 4,000 National Guardsmen and 700 Marines aren't going anywhere.
It can only go right by having the military. It de-escalates. I mean, that was the only way. These people are agitators, they're troublemakers.
But ABC has witnessed many of the protesters self-policing, keeping others in check. Despite objections from the governor, who says he doesn't need the federal presence and doesn't want them there, the president adamant they're needed to stop what he calls an invasion, speaking to troops at Fort Bragg.
They're stopping an invasion just like you'd stop an invasion.
There are now more U.S. troops in Los Angeles than in Iraq and Syria. On Capitol Hill, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth defending the mission, saying it will go on for the next 60 days, estimating it will cost American taxpayers $134 million.
Why are you sending war fighters to cities to interact with civilians?
Every American citizen deserves to live in a community that's safe, and ICE agents need to be able to do their job.
Democrats say the president is making matters worse.
The president's decision to call the National Guard troops to Los Angeles was premature, and the decision to deploy active duty Marines as well is downright escalatory.
All this as this morning tanks are rolling towards Washington ahead of the president's military parade this weekend. Trump with this warning to anyone who might show up to protest.
If there's any protester wants to come out, they will be met with very big force.
Trump not differentiating between violent and peaceful protesters. There are protests planned around the country for the day of the parade. The president has longed for this parade, a show of military might like he's seen from other countries. Sources tell ABC News mounted rocket launchers will be on display, as well as precision-guided missiles. This in addition to those tanks and an assortment of fighting vehicles. The event will also feature 6,700 soldiers and a 50-aircraft flyover. The total cost to taxpayers up to $45 million.
And the parade, which is intended to celebrate the 250th anniversary of the Army, just so happens to also fall on President Trump's 79th birthday. George.
And Mary, on another front, Elon Musk looking to make peace with President Trump?
It appears that way, George. Elon Musk this morning is expressing some remorse, posting, quote, "I regret some of my posts about President Trump last week. They went too far," though he doesn't say which posts he feels went too far. Musk, of course, spent a lot of last week ripping into the president over his budget bill, his tariffs, even suggesting impeachment and leveling that deeply personal attack, accusing the president of being involved in the Epstein files. But, George, I think it's safe to say that after the implosion we saw last week, it's going to take a lot more than one post to repair this relationship.
Mary Bruce, thanks very much, Robin.
And George, now to the breaking news overnight. The U.S. and China agreeing to a framework of a trade deal, rolling back some of the measures as part of President Trump's trade war. Jay O'Brien is at the White House with those details for us. Good morning, Jay.
Yeah, Robin, U.S. and Chinese officials confirming this morning that they have reached a tentative agreement to get trade relations between the two countries back on track and implement a hard-fought trade deal that was reached just about a month ago in Geneva between the U.S. and China that would pause most tariffs for just about 90 days. President Trump this morning posting about the agreement, saying that the trade relationship with China is quote unquote excellent. And then he went on to suggest that the final deal will still include a 55% tariff on all Chinese goods coming into the U.S. and a 10% tariff on U.S. goods imported to China. President Trump also saying that two key points in this deal were easing the Chinese export of rare earth minerals and the Trump administration reversing course on a threat it made last week to revoke the visas of Chinese students here in this country. Now, this framework agreement, a positive step forward for the U.S. and its third largest trading partner, who've seen tensions only rise in recent weeks with this tit for tat of back and forth of steeper and deeper tariffs. President Trump and Chinese leader Xi Jinping will still both have to approve this agreement. George.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. Okay, Jay, thanks very much. We're going to turn now to the fallout from Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s purge of all the experts on a key advisory committee that helps set policy on vaccines, including immunizations for children. There were protesters outside the CDC, including current employees. Senior national correspondent Steve Osunsami is there with the story. Good morning, Steve.
Good morning to you, George. There have been regular protests here outside the CDC since this current administration began, but this is the first to openly include current employees.
Current CDC employees, some who were fired, some who were laid off, and others who decided to retire, are taking to the busy street outside the CDC.
He's going to bring people in who support his thoughts, and that's not how science should work.
The people that we trust to give us the right information, the scientific explanation, are going to be gone, and RFK Jr. is going to be the one calling the shots.
They view this as the latest fight in a battle between politics and science. The decision from Health Secretary RFK Jr. to fire 17 experts who regularly advised the CDC on vaccines. Dr. Noel Brewer was one of them.
Healthcare providers used to look to ACIP to establish best recommendations based on evidence and expert advice. And that expertise has left the building.
Secretary Kennedy has long questioned America's use of vaccines, and he's defending his decision.
We're going to bring people onto the ACIP panel, not anti-vaxxers. We're bringing people on who are credentialed scientists, who are highly credentialed physicians, who are going to do evidence-based medicine, who are going to be objective, and who are going to follow the science and make critical public health determinations for our children.
Louisiana Senator Bill Cassidy, a doctor, was a deciding vote in approving Kennedy for the job and said this at the time after meeting with RFK Jr.
It confirmed he will maintain the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention's Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices recommendations without changes.
Do you have any regrets, though?
In person, he refused to comment about the firings, but had plenty to say online, writing that he worries a new vaccine advisory board will be filled up with people who know nothing about vaccines except suspicion, but says he will continue to talk with Kennedy to ensure this is not the case.
This group of advisors still has a meeting on the books for later this month where they are possibly going to recommend a COVID vaccine for this winter. They will need members for that. Robin?
Yes, they will. All right, Steve, our thanks to you. Now, excitement around the new features coming to iPhones as Apple faces some criticism. It has not developed AI as quickly as its competitors. Sam Champion is here with more on that. Good morning, Sam.
Good morning, Robin. Good morning, George. Good morning, everyone. Yeah, it has been a wait. And so users are looking forward to what we call a lot of new features set to hit iPhones in the fall. Now, there is this new liquid glass design announced at Apple's annual Worldwide Developers Conference, which adds kind of a glass-like appearance to your phone's in-app interfaces. You can see, you can kind of see through them there. Apple also adding an AI-powered translation tool. This is cool, guys, for calls and text. So you could have a phone call with someone who speaks a different language, and it'll be spoken to you aloud by an AI voice in your language, and will also appear as captions on your phone in your language.
That's cool.
It is very cool, especially when I'm struggling with Portuguese. All right,
yeah.
The Apple Wallet is getting a travel-friendly upgrade as well. It will soon be able to hold a digital version of your passport. Now, it doesn't replace your physical passport at all, but it can be used to verify your identity in some apps and at some TSA checkpoints. point. So how far will this go? We just don't know yet. Critics point out Apple's announcement was heavy on design, but light on true AI innovation. And indeed, some versions of what Apple has put into this have already been on Samsung and Google phones, but for a while now. But for Apple, they admit that they don't always come out with the newest technologies first. But here's their response to that. But when we do, it's kind of a loose quote, it is the best.
Oh,
that's the way Apple feels
I want
about
to hear
it.
some Portuguese.
No. Tudo bom, tudo bem is about as good as it goes. And that anyone who speaks it knows that's just a general greeting.
I thought that was bringing me coffee.
Thank you, Sam. Coming up, Aaron Katursky at the courthouse with the latest on the Sean Diddy Combs trial. Hey, Aaron.
Hey, George, Sean Combs' ex-girlfriend's under cross-examination. The defense is trying to cast her as a willing participant in his lifestyle. There was one moment, though, where the judge had to remind the witness, just answer the question. We'll have that coming up.
Oh, Aaron, also ahead, watch this. A dramatic rescue, roadside rescue. We hear from a Good Samaritan who actually pulled over to pull this woman out of an overturned car engulfed in flames.
Oh, that driver who helped was in the right place at the right time. Yeah. And how Coca-Cola is turning back the clock. We're going to be coming right back with his good boy. His good boy, look good boy, Bruce, getting called up to the majors. Oh. Wow, back here on GMA, Coco Gauff's French Open Victory Tour made a stop at the New York Liberty game last night. She got a standing ovation. You know, she started the tour here on Monday, but she didn't dance for us like she did last night. She looks so tiny next to the players. Oh my gosh, the two-time Grand Slam champion. Oh my gosh, she is having the best time, and rightfully so. And the Liberty, by the way, are 9-0, extending their best start in franchise history.
And Coco living her best life.
Yes, she is. Rightfully so.
New at 7:30, Federal Appeals Court has ruled that President Trump's tariffs can remain in place for now. Appeals Court is reviewing a lower court decision blocking the tariffs on the grounds that the president overstepped his authority. At issue is his use of an Emergency Economic Powers Act to impose the tariffs. Also, this morning's launch of the Axiom space crew has been delayed because of a mechanical issue with the SpaceX Falcon 9 booster. The private space mission plans to send astronauts to the International Space Station with the hope of building its own space station.
And the major leagues are set to get another new prospect. So our cameras were there as we got the good news from this AAA manager.
Hey, come on in, big dog. Have a seat. You know, last year you got called up to AAA. You did a really nice job, but we still thought we needed some work down at the lower levels. We put a plan in place. You went down, you did your work. I'm excited to tell you, the front office, the GM, the president, the owners, they're excited to invite you to Nats Park for your call up to the major leagues on June the 14th. Congratulations.
In the best way. That was so well done. Bruce the Mad Dog earned his promotion after posting a perfect, I got more stats, 1,000 retrieval average in the minors. Bruce is set to make his debut this Saturday at Nationals Park in D.C., which is also a Pups in the Park day.
Can we just play that video all morning? It's so great.
So good.
We can't do that. We're going to turn now to a tense cross-examination of the Sean Diddy Combs sex trafficking and racketeering trial. Defense attorneys grilled one of the rapper's former girlfriends. Chief investigative correspondent Aaron Katursky at the courthouse. Good morning, Aaron.
And good morning to you, George. That cross-examination is sassy and spicy, with the defense trying to cast Sean Combs' ex-girlfriend, known by the pseudonym Jane, as a willing, not coerced participant in his polyamorous lifestyle. After telling the jury her relationship with Sean Combs made her feel manipulated, used, and resentful, Jane testified on cross-examination, "I loved spending time with my partner. She told the jury she liked to bathe him and give him foot rubs. He was my baby," Jane said. "I'm naturally nurturing."
Most of these girls be confusing me. I don't know if they really love me or they using me.
The defense sought to highlight the benefits of Jane's relationship with Combs, including a $20,000 investment in her line of swimsuits and dresses, the rent on a 5,300 square foot home, and luxury gifts. When defense attorney Tenny Garagos asked Jane about those gifts, the tone turned sharper. "What is a Bottega bag?" Garagos asked. "I'm sure you have one," Jane snapped. "I actually don't," Garagos said. "How much do Bottega bags run?" "How much does my body cost?" Jane answered, prompting the judge to remind her to answer the question. Asked if Combs had given her a Chanel bag, Jane replied, "No, I only got trauma." But the defense showed the jury an effusive text message Jane wrote about a night with a male prostitute that she previously testified left her in tears. "I love you so much," the message said. "I feel closer to you on another level." And the defense showed raunchier messages when Jane initiated plans to lock each other in the room all day or boasted about sex with a favorite escort named Paul. Jane said they compared themselves to basketball stars. Jane was Kobe Bryant, Paul was Shaquille O'Neal, and Combs was Michael Jordan.
Jane's cross-examination yesterday is going to make it very hard for the prosecution because in order to prove human trafficking, they have to show that she was either doing the activities, the sexual activities, out of fraud, coercion, or force. There's many text messages where she's eliciting going to these hotel nights and that she's inviting him to participate and plan in a hotel night.
Jane is back on the witness stand today for more cross-examination. It's where she'll be at least through tomorrow, guys.
Yeah, she will. All right, Aaron, our thanks to you. Now there's concern over the sale of genetic testing company 23andMe. Dozens of states are suing to prevent it from selling users' genetic data. Eva Pilgrim's going to tell us more about this. Good morning.
Good morning, Robin. This all comes down to privacy. When you sign up for 23andMe, you're essentially sharing your DNA, and with that, a lot of personal information. With the company now in bankruptcy and trying to sell itself, that has created a bit of a complicated situation. 27 states, including Pennsylvania and New York, as well as D.C., have filed a lawsuit to block that sale, saying customers did not consent to the sale of their DNA data. A recent court filing estimating roughly 15 million customers are affected by this. 23andMe announced it was filing for bankruptcy back in March. Regeneron Pharmaceuticals agreed to purchase it for $256 million and said it plans to comply with 23andMe's privacy policies and applicable laws. And it already handles a 3 million person database of human genetic information. So what can you do if you're worried about this? Download your data if you want to save it, and then you can actually permanently delete your account. It takes a few steps, but you can delete your account off of 23andMe.
And it's permanently deleted?
Permanently deleted.
Okay. Thank you, Eva.
Oof.
Yeah.
I mean, that has everybody thinking this morning. All right, now to a roadside rescue caught on police body cam. An officer and Good Samaritan raced to pull a woman from her burning car. This morning, we're hearing from that Good Samaritan who, as Robin said, was in the right place at the right time. Janae is here with the story. Hey, Janae.
Hey, Sam. Good morning to you. This video is stunning to watch and a reminder of the kind of danger that first responders run towards on a regular basis. In this case, a car that looked like a fireball with the driver still trapped inside. This morning, dramatic body camera footage of an overturned vehicle engulfed in flames. I go. And the race to rescue the driver trapped inside.
So you have a fire coming to this car off the roadway fully engulfed. We lost contact with the caller. She was still in the vehicle.
Where's she at? Officer Nicholas Cantone, the first on the scene, giving his fire extinguisher to a Good Samaritan, Nathan Felix.
Get out! Where you at? He just handed me the fire extinguisher, and then immediately I just ran to the car.
The officer using a tool to break the sunroof glass.
Right here.
And with the help of a paramedic and two passing motorists, dragging her away from the flames.
Wait, I'm gonna expose. Go. Come on.
The driver, who police identified as a 68-year-old woman suffering burns to a third of her body.
You got magic vac available? The way I heard that lady screaming, like it felt like it was like either my mom or my aunt or something like that.
The other officer on the scene praising Felix.
Jumped out of his car to assist and legitimately put his life in jeopardy. He did an amazing job.
So that 68-year-old woman was transported to New York's Westchester Medical Center burn unit where she remains stable. But as you said, that's Good Samaritan in the right place at the right time.
Jumping in as he did.
Right? Incredible what people will do under pressure.
No, hopefully she'll make a full recovery.
Yeah.
Makes us feel good about people.
Thanks, Janae. Now with that shake-up that Larry was telling us about, the soda wars are bubbling up. Coca-Cola bringing back a fan favorite flavor after a 5-year hiatus. You got to bring these details to us, Lara.
I will do, Robin. Good morning, everyone. Soda drinkers, well, they lost their fizz about 5 years ago, and Coca-Cola pulled the plug on Diet Cherry Coke seemingly out of the blue. Now, though, the beloved flavor is coming back, but you better stock up because it's for a limited time only and only in a limited number of stores.
This morning, a new salvo in the soda war. Coca-Cola taking on competitors like Dr. Pepper.
You like Dr. Pepper?
And its unique blend of 23 flavors.
revealing they're bringing back an old fan favorite, Diet Cherry Coke. The beverage giant tapping into nostalgia, bringing back the drink from the 1980s after it was discontinued in 2020. But they're making it available exclusively at Kroger's family of stores, starting in mid-July and only for a limited time.
Diet Cherry Coke brings a little bit of nostalgia, but it also, from a taste perspective, does, almost compete directly with Diet Dr. Pepper and some of the Dr. Pepper flavor variants that have come out.
This just the latest move in the battle of the beverage brands. In March, Pepsi acquiring prebiotic soda brand Poppi for nearly $2 billion.
This will be the last moment you ever think of soda as being a dirty word.
This as Coca-Cola announced it was launching a rival called Simply Pop in a fight for more health-conscious customers. The soda industry is worth around $97 billion, but sales of traditional soft drinks have dipped slightly in recent years as inflation and other factors put pressure on wallets. The fight for every customer's dollar is fierce as brands try to zero in on what buyers will spend money on. It's full Dr. Pepper! It's sweet blackberry flavor!
The interest in flavored soft drinks has come back more in the last few years, and so I think it's bringing something back that was relevant before and seems to be relevant today in terms of where consumer tastes are shifting.
Very relevant. Diehard fans are all in. One person writing, there is a God, because it's back. And my personal favorite, the grocery stocker is going to hate to see me coming. No word yet on just how limited Diet Cherry Coke's limited run will be, and no exact release date has been given. But as you just heard, people are very excited about it, so great marketing.
I know. We went down memory lane with like Fresca, Tab,
all the old ones.
All those, bring them back. Bring them all back. All right.
Sam, did you figure out a play of the day?
I think I did now, George. I think it's very interesting here. Now, so next week we start broadcasting from our brand new state-of-the-art studio.
Yeah.
And notice how we're all kind of like looking at this very carefully. Take a look at the time-lapse video showing our GMA crew hard at work getting this ready for our very first show for you guys.
So that's actually the studio.
Yeah,
and that's actually like last week.
Yeah, you were there. It is. You're right. You were there doing a rehearsal yesterday, Ginger, right?
Yeah.
Now, that's all we can show you for right now because all will be revealed on Monday morning. Exciting. Meanwhile, we have sent some of our intrepid, nosy reporters to our new neighborhood to explore and tell us all the deets. Becky Worley and Rebecca Jarvis found a great lunch spot, so everybody take a look at the same time.
I head to lunch at this cozy place, Square Diner.
I heard you might be a regular here, but wow.
Just a light lunch.
You ordered all this?
Yeah, I was feeling very hungry, and I'm so glad you're here because now we have a whole meal to enjoy together.
I can help. Delicious Eggs Benedict, a spicy fried chicken sandwich, comfort food. The owner, Teddy Karunos.
Visitors know Times Square, but they may not know it down here. What should they see?
I think the great part about downtown Manhattan is there's so many nooks and crannies, so many little spaces that you just need to explore it all for yourself.
We were just trying to think of the new neighborhood name, and it's Hudson Square.
But it's like Soho adjacent.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Very hip.
It's kind of in between, sandwiched, if you will, based on the story. Soho and Tribeca, right?
And you've actually moved down there.
You're like our leader.
Channel 7 is down there. Well, I don't know, because our floor is a whole new world. So
no, but Sam, you know the
down there
neighborhood.
too.
Yes. Oh, so yeah, physically I did.
Yes.
And now you can tell us all the top coffee spots, all of that.
Yeah.
But I think we all need preemptive pardons. In case anyone misses coming to set one day, please give us a pardon. It's a massive building. We need IDs to go everywhere, but we will make it.
It's going to take a minute, so I think
Thank you for saying that.
it should be some good stuff going on.
There'll be empty seats, and you go, where are they?
Trying to find the studio.
Because even in the elevator, if you don't have your ID.
And you got to move fast for that elevator.
And every show is in the same building, so if we suddenly pop up on The View, apologies in advance. Wrong door.
We'll be right back.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
Good morning, America. It's 8 a.m. Overnight, protests in major cities across the nation. Los Angeles clamps down, putting a curfew into effect. Roughly 300 people detained as Governor Gavin Newsom accuses President Trump of intentionally fanning the flames. The president defends his unprecedented show of force.
The new study on weight loss drugs. What happens if you stop the shots early?
and why some people aren't sticking with the medications. Dr. Tara Narula is here to break it down.
Out of this world premiere.
Elio?
Elio?
As families get ready to launch into Elio's intergalactic adventure. The stars of Pixar's new movie hit the carpet, including Zoe Saldana and her kids, plus the 14-year-old star who plays Elio himself. As they say,
Buenos dias, America.
Hello, good morning, America.
Good morning, America.
Live from Times Square, it's Wednesday. Good morning, America.
We do say good morning, America. It is a busy Wednesday here in Times Square as we're getting ready to move downtown. There are boxes everywhere upstairs as we're packing up. We're going to really miss being outside with our Times Square crowd. That's where we find our Sam champion.
Oh,
right
Robin,
now.
hey, remember this? Hi, what's your name and where are you from?
Joey, I'm from San Francisco.
All right. Hi, what's your name? Where are you from?
Bella, Carlsbad.
All right, Bella. Good job, Bella. For about 26 years, we've stood here in Times Square and got some of the most amazing performances. We've had Beyonce out here. We've had a lot of people close down Times Square for huge moments outside. And so we want to remember it, and we will a little bit later this morning. George?
Yeah, big part of our look back. Also had Tori Johnson has Deals and Steals, as she always does, and this is all about summer entertaining. A lot of the items at least half off.
All right, and we have heard of the door challenge. Have you heard of it? Well, there's a new alert, and it's putting some homeowners and the perpetrators in danger.
First, look at the top stories breaking today. We start with the protests that are spreading across the country. Sixth day in Los Angeles, California Governor Gavin Newsom condemned President Trump's deployment of the military as a brazen abuse of power. I want to go back to our chief national correspondent, Matt Gutman, on the scene. Good morning, Matt.
Hey, George, those protests began right behind me here on Friday, as you just mentioned, spreading nationwide. And here in Los Angeles, they have been mostly peaceful. But now the mayor here imposing a nighttime curfew in part of downtown Los Angeles after she said the city has reached a tipping point with about 24 stores here looted. Overnight, the protests, which have rocked downtown Los Angeles, spreading across the country in response to the Trump administration's immigration crackdown.
Hands off our students!
From Boston, Seattle, and D.C. to Milwaukee. In New York City, police and protesters clashing, officers pushing protesters back. While the majority of protests have been peaceful, in Los Angeles for a fifth consecutive night, mounted police officers swarming protesters as that curfew kicked in. Governor Gavin Newsom claiming Tuesday that democracy is under assault, requesting a federal court block President Trump's unprecedented military mobilization.
Donald Trump's government isn't protecting our communities. They're traumatizing our communities.
L.A. Mayor Karen Bass issuing a curfew for downtown L.A. that could last several days, hoping it'll stop vandalism and looting of businesses. But protesters continue to pour into the streets of downtown L.A. Late Tuesday, we spoke with LAPD Chief Jim McDonnell.
Do you need the help from the thousands of federal troops?
No, they're on a separate mission. Our mission.
You don't need their help, is what you're saying.
We have a protocol in place for doing what we're doing today, and that's we mobilize the department or parts of the department. We've done that, and then to request mutual aid.
And the chief also assured me that we're not going to be seeing Marines and National Guard here on the streets interacting with protesters, that will remain the job of police. But Governor Greg Abbott of Texas saying that he is going to deploy the National Guard across multiple areas in Texas in anticipation of expected protests there. Robin.
All right, Matt, thank you. President Trump defended his deployment of America's military there in L.A., also issued a warning to anyone who might protest the military parade in Washington on Saturday. So let's go back to our chief White House correspondent, Mary Bruce. Good morning again, Mary.
Good morning, Robin. Yeah, the president is now doubling down on his unprecedented use of the armed forces to quell these civilian protests in Los Angeles and making it clear that the 4,000 National Guardsmen and 700 Marines aren't going anywhere, despite the objections of Governor Newsom, who again says he doesn't need this federal presence, says he doesn't want it. The president is arguing that this is needed, he says, to stop what he's now calling an invasion. There are now more troops in L.A. than in Iraq and Syria. The defense secretary says the mission will go on for the next 60 days that it's going to cost American taxpayers $134 million. Now, all of this is coming as tanks are now rolling through the streets of Washington, D.C., getting ready and preparing for the president's big parade this weekend. It's a show of American military might. This is something that the president has long wanted, and he is now warning anyone who protests his parade this weekend that they will be, quote, met with very big force. George.
Mary Bruce, thanks very much. We're going to turn now to a police warning about the TikTok door kicking challenge. Kids are kicking people's front doors down. People say the prank is not only illegal, but it could be dangerous. Eva Pilgrim has a story. Good morning, Eva.
Good morning again, George. This is a warning for parents who talk to their kids about the door kicking challenge, currently trending on social media. You can see the challenge in this video. 3 kids kicking and banging on a door. Police in Chandler, Arizona, sharing this video. Authorities say the trio targeted the same house 18 times, scaring that family so much they actually moved from that home. The police department writing in its post, let's be clear, these pranks can have serious consequences and lead to charges such as criminal damage, disorderly conduct, or harassment. Parents, please take a moment to talk with your children. Know where they are, who they're with, and what they're doing. They are now in the process of bringing charges against those 3 you saw in that video. And it's not just Arizona. This has been happening nationwide. In Fort Worth, Texas, police posting a similar alert, also noting it can be mistaken as an attempted break-in, potentially prompting dangerous or defensive responses from homeowners. What may seem like a prank can result in very real trouble and or danger. And this morning, they're hoping teens will realize the possible risk and the consequences of this challenge and just not do it.
Somebody's gonna get shot.
Well, you just never know. You don't know whose house you're banging on their door.
And they're not just teens. You saw how young they were?
The age really ranges when you watch these videos.
Gosh, but you're right about that. Something really could happen. Thank you, Eva. Coming up on our GMA Morning Menu, the new study on weight loss drugs and what happens when you stop taking them too soon. Dr. Tara Narula is going to break down the findings.
Outside in pop news, the stars of Elio are shining at the premiere, including Zoe Saldana and her kids.
Plus, we're saying goodbye to Times Square after nearly 26 years. And this morning, we're going to look back at some of our favorite moments, right? I still can't believe they did that. Right outside our studio. Lara and Sam, you got a very special guest with you.
I know. Look at this. Look at this brand new child star. Who are you?
June. What's yours? Okay. Buckle up, everyone. Mario Cantone is here telling us all the juice from the new Sex and the City spinoff.
Juice and bread, baby.
It's mornings.
It's been our theme song for so long. New Kids on the Block. They're performing here in our Times Square studio.
Right.
They're going to be here tomorrow, kicking off our GMA Summer Concert Series. Let's go to Robin.
We're looking forward to that. Now, our GMA cover story, a health alert on those popular GLP-1 medications for weight loss. New research out this morning suggests stopping the medications too soon could make it harder to lose weight. Our chief medical correspondent, Dr. Tara Narula, is here with more. It seems like common sense that this would happen, but just enlighten us with these findings.
Exactly. Well, we're so used to looking at drugs in clinical trials and seeing what happens and how beneficial they are. But what happens in the real world? And that's exactly what researchers wanted to know. So they looked at severely obese individuals, about 8,000 of them, who took Wegovy and Zepbound over the course of a year. And they, in fact, found that there was smaller amounts of weight loss than they had seen in trials. There was smaller benefits in terms of sugar reduction. But when they looked at the why, it was because a lot of people were discontinuing the medications before a year and also taking lower maintenance doses. In fact, over 80% were on lower levels of these drugs. When they looked at those who discontinued, about 50% stopped the drug before a year. So if they stopped it early, they had about a 4% weight loss. If they stopped it later in the year, about 7%. And if they took it for a whole year, they did in fact have a 12% weight loss. And Robin, when they tried to figure out what are the factors that really are associated with more weight loss by the end of the year, it was being a woman, it was taking Zepbound instead of Wegovy, it was, no surprise, continuing the drug for longer, and taking those higher maintenance doses.
But let's talk about the why. Why folks are coming off of it sooner?
Well, researchers say they don't know in this study the why, but they can theorize the why, and that would be cost. We know that these drugs have been very costly, and only recently have we started to see that come down. There have been insurance coverage issues for a lot of people, supply issues for the last several years that have now gotten better. And then some people do develop side effects, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, constipation.
So what are the findings about those who are pre-diabetic?
Yeah, well, this is really important. So So they looked at a panel of patients that were pre-diabetic. And at the end of the year, those that continued the drug for the full year, they normalized their blood sugar. 70% of those people did. If they stopped it early, it was more like 30 or 40%. So real improvements in blood sugar if you stay on the drug for at least a year. And one other interesting finding that obviously a lot of people want to know, I hear a lot in my office, is do I have to stay on this drug forever? Am I going to regain the weight? And in clinical trials, we have seen that if you come off, you tend to regain the weight. In this real world study, whatever weight people lost, they tended to stay at that weight and maintain it, which is good news for a lot of people. The question about why that might be, they're looking into that again. Is it because they changed their lifestyle in addition to taking the drug? Did they do bariatric surgery? Did they take some other medication? Or, is there some sort of change in the body that's happening with these drugs that's allowing you to then stay off the drug and maintain the weight loss?
Do you have other questions from your patients about this? Do they have other questions that they ask you about?
Yesterday, I was actually talking about this. I saw probably 17 patients. 70% of those we had conversations about GLP. And the last patient of the day I saw, she lost 80 pounds in 9 months. Robin, there's so few things in medicine where we really can see the change, and people, it just absolutely changes their life. And for so many patients, they look at me and they say, just thank you for talking about this with me, because it's literally changed how I feel physically, how I look, how I feel psychologically.
And it is good to talk to their doctor about it.
Bring it up, have the conversation.
All right. I'm glad we had this conversation. All right. Time now for Pop News. Lara.
Thank you, Robin. Yeah, we're going to begin with a trip to a whole new universe thanks to Elio. That's Disney Pixar's newest animated adventure. And last night, the stars were out in force in LA to celebrate the movie's world premiere. Zoe Saldana, who voices Elio's Aunt Olga, was there with her kids. And she says this is a role her whole family can really get behind.
Olga says a very important line to Elio, and she says, I may not understand you, but I love you. And I think that says a lot.
It says everything. Elio is all about a little boy with a big intergalactic dream. He gets beamed up to an alien universe where they mistake the 11-year-old for Earth's leader, of course, and chaos ensues.
That happens.
14-year-old Jonas Cabrera, who plays Elio, told us his character's story is one that everyone can relate to.
If you're feeling grief or feeling alone at times, just like Elio, I just want them to really understand that everything is going to be okay and you'll get through it just like Elio does.
Yeah, agreed. We also asked Jonas what his first mandate would be if he was chosen really to be the leader of Earth. And just like Elio, he told us that he would want everyone to wear name tags to make the world a friendlier place. I actually think it's a really great idea. Thank you, Jonas. Elio hits theaters nationwide on June 20th. So simple and brilliant.
Out of the mouth is babes. Yet again.
100%. So really looking forward to that. It's getting a lot of really good buzz. Also this morning, the Television Academy announced the induction of 6 TV legends into the 27th annual Hall of Fame for their outstanding contributions. EGOT winner Viola Davis is the first Black artist to win an Emmy for Outstanding Lead Actress. She won it, of course, for Robin.
How to Get Away with Murder.
Correct. Conan O'Brien is being honored for his 28-year career as a late-night host, and he is, by the way, also this year's recipient of the Mark Twain Prize for American Humor. He is on quite a roll. And Ryan Murphy is being inducted for creating some of the most acclaimed TV series, including Glee, American Horror Story, and Pose, and bringing marginalized characters to mainstream audiences. Well done. Also joining the class of 2025, there he is. Hey, it's Henry Winkler being celebrated for bringing to life the Fonz. Don Mischer is being recognized posthumously for producing and directing events like the Emmys. Such a terrific producer. And Emmy-winning musician, composer, and producer Mike Post is also being honored. The Television Hall of Fame ceremony takes place in LA at the inaugural Television Festival on August 16th. Congratulations to all of the winners. Wow. And finally, would you look what popped up in a dusty barn attic in Connecticut? How did I miss this, Sam? This what you're looking at is
I don't know, because you're taking me to every dusty place in Connecticut.
Correct. What you're looking at, let's show it again. This is a 17th century Dutch masterpiece. Although you may not have known it when it was discovered, it was so filthy you couldn't even see what was going on in the picture. But the chairman of Sotheby's North and South America, George, walked doctor. He had a feeling something pretty stunning was laying underneath all that grime, and boy, was he right. He encouraged collectors to bid, and bid they did. They pushed up the hammer price to $2.2 million. Guys, that was in 1998, the first time it sold.
Yeah.
In the years since, the painting has been restored. It became clear that this was by Dutch Golden Age artist Frans Post, painted in 1666. It even has a title, View of Olinda Brazil, with the ruins of the Jesuit church. Well, guess what? It just went on the block again. This time it sold for over $7 million in less than 2 minutes. That's a record for the Dutch old master who painted it almost 370 years ago. How did I miss that one?
And it was found in the attic?
It was found in an attic of a barn in Connecticut, and you know I like to search those.
Boy, she does.
I sure do. Because you know why, Robin?
That's why you break for yard sales. That's why you very much. That would be a great title for a book. Oh, it was.
Been there, done that.
Okay, everybody, gather up and snuggle around the TV because it's now time for Deals and Steals as you get ready to entertain this summer, and entertain we will. Tori Johnson is here with everything you need to be a great host or hostess, Lara, and they're from small businesses.
Or just to have kind of a good time in your kitchen every single day. We're starting with Our Place, one of our favorites, and we've got two of their most popular pieces. So this one right here is called the Always Pan.
Oh, I've seen this.
And it's kind of like the versatile superstar. So it's shallow enough to flip an egg, but deep enough to roast a chicken. It also comes with a steamer basket.
You could steam in there.
You could steam in there. It's their truly all-in-one versatile. And then up here we've got the 5.5 quart perfect pot. And feel how typically a Dutch oven is extremely heavy.
Right, I thought this was going to be heavy.
Exactly. This is half the weight, less than half the weight of a traditional Dutch oven. So it's good for great easy maneuverability. And this one you can boil, bake, fry, roast, braise. I mean, literally do everything. Everything comes with their Thermokind. It's their exclusive, most advanced ceramic non-stick coating. So you can feel good. The colors are fabulous. It's a great one to have in your kitchen, all 50% off today.
All right, good deal.
Okay, this might be some of the most fun that I'm going to give you this morning. And I know you're already having a lot of fun. All right, so I've got my empty tray right here.
Yes.
You pick up this Finnamil right here.
Okay,
and just
Finnamil.
with one finger right there, you can press the button on the top.
Okay.
And you can grind as much spice as you desire.
Oh.
Okay, so maybe you've had enough pepper.
Finnamil.
Now
What?
Maybe you want to try something else.
Maybe
This
I
was
do.
one of
What is?
Time's-
Look at that salt.
A Time invention of the year, so you can grind as much or as little spice as you want. You get two pods with each grinder, and they just pop right in. They look sleek on your table.
Yeah.
You think you can?
I think I can do three at one time.
Yeah, multiple grinding. Okay, there he goes with the multiple
awesome.
grinding.
Sorry, Gary.
These sets are fabulous. There's a reason that they're an Oprah favorite, a Time favorite. The kit that they created is 50% off.
Take it. Get it.
Brightland, some of the best olive oil ever. Yep. So what? Oh, you want to dip that?
Sure.
Yep.
That's even better.
That's a balsamic. Their balsamic and olive oil mix. We also have their all their individual. These are their infused oils. Their honey. This is all freshly made at California family farms. The bottles are beautiful, but the product is even more fabulous. It's truly one of the absolute favorites. I'm hearing it in your.
It is so good.
It's so good, right?
Can I put this in my pocket and take it
You
away?
can. Brightland is phenomenal. They have 3 different sets for you today, all 50% off.
Oh.
We got good. Yeah, we got some oohs and ahs over there too. Okay. Vin glacé, easiest way to keep your wine, champagne, or sparkling water chilled. So
little vin glacé.
You take your already chilled bottle, stick it right in here. It's a stainless steel vacuum sealed container, so it's going to keep it cool. Sorry we didn't have it open.
Yeah, why
we
is
only
this
gave
not
you the bread
okay,
this morning.
yeah.
And then for the kits that have the tumblers, the wine tumblers, I like to point out that it's glass inside, so you don't get like that metally taste. When you're drinking, you get that glass clean taste. All of these sets, including the ones that celebrate tennis, 50% off.
This, Lara Spencer, this is, we got to have this.
All right.
Okay.
These are Never Move washable rugs by Gel Pro.
Oh, so even my oily hands can touch it because I was dipping in.
They look great, even though your hands really aren't going to be down on the floor on the carpet, but they're going to be, you never know, I guess. They're going to be soft on your feet, but durable in high trafficked areas. They've got these jelly grippers that are going to stick to the floor. door. If they get unsticky because of pet hair or debris, you just wash them off, dry them, and they're going to be
This looks
re-sticky.
expensive. Like it looks like an expensive carpet.
It does. That's what they specialize in, these really phenomenal patterns that look exquisite, but they don't break the bank. We've got a big area rug and then a two-piece set, 50 to 60% off today. These are phenomenal, stain-resistant, machine washable as well. And then finally, summer means like sweat and stains, and so Clean
I'm
People,
sweating now.
phenomenal detergent, sorry. But we've got these detergent sheets, which mean no waste, no spill, no plastic jugs.
Wait, this is the,
That's
this takes the place
detergent.
of the, what?
Yes, that takes the place of the detergent. Or we've got these little pods that are boosted with more stain remover and
so
odor
nice.
remover. That's a fresh scent one. Dryer balls, everything eco-friendly, good for you, starting at $6.
If I just put it in the pocket, am I cleaning myself now?
We've partnered with all of these companies.
We partnered with all of these companies. Thank you, Tori. These great deals. Get them on our website. And Tori's back tomorrow. That would be hard if you said that. With even more deals and steals. Coming up, our favorite moments right outside in Times Square. I'm cleaning now, Tori.
Welcome back to GMA, live from Times Square.
We're counting down to the move. A lot of packing boxes all over the place. We're going downtown to our new studio. Before we go, we're looking back at some of our favorite moments and memories here. And a lot of them happened right outside our studio doors in the heart of Times Square.
I gotta get outside.
Okay,
so follow me, everybody. We're gonna go out to Military Island.
Call it our bonus studio.
Hey there, my friend.
Woo, I made it. I think I just burned calories, so let's see.
It just so happens to be located at the crossroads of the world.
It's New York, baby. Of course they're going to have the sirens.
It's New York. It's beautiful.
We call it Military Island because of the recruiting station located right there.
We recognize them who have served us so bravely.
For GMA, this versatile space allowed our show to do just about everything.
Military Island here in Times Square. We got a 30-foot ramp and the snowboarders are out. Some fresh powder.
Literally walk on fire 10 feet across the coals here. Woo! She did it!
Stand up.
Oh my goodness, you are looking at 3 love stories, 3 marriage proposals.
Would you do the honor of marrying me?
Will you marry me?
Will you marry me?
Will you marry me?
Military Island was a place to break a sweat.
I'm gonna give that back to you. We're gonna get her started. Look at her, there she goes.
Just hit the net.
And dance.
We will lower it into the hole, not to be opened, we hope, for another 100 years.
And while it hasn't quite been a century since we buried our GMA time capsule, we will always remember the memories made with our viewers here. Oh, it has been fun to go back.
Are we taking the time capsule with us? Because it's not going to be yours yet. Or does it say? Yes, we are. This just in, we are taking the capsule with. Yes, we are.
That's cool. That's cool. We'll have to find a spot for it downtown.
Oh, I don't know if they'll let us.
Who's going to start drilling?
Yeah, no chance.
But our neighbors have been so kind to us here.
I mean, the things that they have witnessed and put up with out there.
Yes.
I mean, you name it, we've built it in Times Square, and the crew's done an incredible job putting things together, getting down, all within that window of the morning.
Changing it into any universe we wanted for any movie premiere, any concert. But also everybody started opening up earlier. Did you notice that? Like even the barbecue place down the street would open up early enough for us to get lunch after the show. Everybody, it was great. It's been great.
Lunch is at 10.
Comedian and actor Mario Cantone, who has played Anthony in the Sex and the City franchise for more than 2 decades. He's now starring in the spin-off series, And Just Like That, which is in its 3rd season, and this cannot be your first time here on GMA.
No, it's my first time, but I'm closing this building down.
There you are! There you are!
I usually do that. In a bar, a cabaret, I close that crap down.
Yeah, so why not a studio?
That's right, why not the studio?
Why do you have me doing this now, too? Well, tell us about the adventures of Anthony.
Well, you know, I used to be a wedding planner on the show, in the original Sex and the City, and now, and Just Like That, I'm a baker. I love to bake. I bake in real life. I bake a banana bread and sell it to a coffee shop down the street. Not every day. I do have a career, but you know, I do that. So, and Michael Patrick King knew he wanted to do something culinary. Because when I had to say, talk about the wedding dresses, like the lace applique. I didn't know what I was talking about. I had to like learn it. I didn't get that gay gene.
The bakery's called what? Hot Fellas?
Hot Fellas, and it's hot guys delivering hot bread.
And people can actually visit it this week?
Yeah, well, there's a pop-up this weekend at Libre, a bakery in Cooper Square on Saturday and Sunday. Yeah, and the boys will be there, and the boys, oh, yeah. I turn into Mae West around those boys. I'm like, oh, save your hands, boys. You may need them later. Oh, yeah.
So what do you bake besides banana bread?
I bake sweet potato pie. I know.
No.
Let me tell you something. Black people across the country are like, this is better than my mother's. I have proof. I have proof. I make a sweet potato pie that will knock you out. I either cook Italian or like soul food.
Oh, yeah. Nice. But they're kind of similar in many ways.
Yeah. Well, New Orleans is very, it's French, it's Spanish, it's Cajun. I love food. I could talk about food forever. I love food. I do. I'm like Katharine Hepburn. I love a good meal here in Connecticut.
So you've given us Mae West, Katharine Hepburn.
Katharine Hepburn. Yeah.
How about Liza Minnelli?
Oh God, George Stephanopoulos, you're so terrific. I have to tell you, you're on the right side of history. You're terrific. I just love you. I want to sing for you. I do, but I don't know what I'm going to sing. Robin Roberts, you have just got your journey. Your spiritual journey. It's so terrific.
I've never heard it explained like that.
I don't know what I mean.
All right, okay. We are here to talk about Just Like Us.
Of course we are.
Okay, can we see a clip?
Oh, we're going to see a clip?
This is great stuff. But
okay. Oh, well,
here we go.
I knew I was going to go off the rails.
Where is everybody? Are people scared of carbs again? Is body negativity back?
I love this turnout. It's chic and exclusive, and I am having the time of my life.
Me too. It's gorgeous in here.
And gorgeous out there.
Yeah, cute, but not hung enough to stop traffic. Where's Giuseppe when I need him? Shove a baguette down there if you need to. And move around. Push the bread. Push the bread. Look alive. You're hot fellas, not dead fellas.
You and the girls. The chemistry is unmatched.
I love those girls. I have a great time with them. Now they come into the bakery and hang out. So I get to see them a lot.
Do they like your other project as well?
What? Say that again?
Do they like your other projects?
My other projects? Oh, yeah.
Turner.
Oh, the Turner Classic Movies. Well, I live for Turner Classic Movies. I had to get in there. I was like Eve Harrington. I had to get in there, be somebody, make them like me. I love it there so much. Ben Mankiewicz is my bromance, and I've been doing it for 5 years. So we're doing our 5th October of Creepy Cinema, and then this August I'm part of Summer Under the Stars once a week. I'm doing Joan Crawford, Jimmy Cagney, Shirley MacLaine, and Judy Garland. The man that got away, no more that old-time thrill for you and through the mill. It was my birthday yesterday. I was 190 years old. How old I was.
We waited way too long to have you on GMA.
I'm a joy. What took you so long?
Tell us you're going to come to us with our new studio. You'll come with us.
Yes. It's downtown, too. But I'll miss Times Square. I will. Give my regards to Broadway. So long, suckers. We're moving downtown. I love that I'm having. I was supposed to have the big 3, but Michael, who I texted, where the hell are you, Strahan? I was going to say, GMA, glorious, magnificent, and then look at Mike and go, and you are, which is a big A.
Oh, we'll tell him that you said that.
Yeah, I love him. I've done Pyramid with him a lot.
Oh, don't bring up Pyramid.
Well, we were against I beat her.
I know. Oh, no, he's starting.
Don't feel bad. I beat Ken Jennings twice.
You did not.
I swear to God, I beat him twice. Ask him. Beat him twice. And I walked by, I'm like, I beat you twice, Ken Jennings. But, if it was Jeopardy, he probably would have beaten me. But it's a different thing.
Yeah, he came to your house.
Yeah, exactly. He came to my house.
But can he bake a banana bread?
No, and he can't make macaroni and cheese, sweet potato pie, or chocolate chip cookies with macadamia nuts. That's my other thing.
Ladies and gentlemen, by the way, new episodes of Just Like That. We did talk about it, right?
We certainly did.
Thursdays, 9 p.m. Eastern on Max. Thank you. Thank
I
you for
adore
sharing
you. I adore
everything
you.
about
Thank you both very much for having me. This was really a delight.
Appreciate it.
So fun. Thanks for letting me go off.
Hey, Ginger, save us.
Mario, I could use you for some singing in the rain because we're about to have more rain this weekend. I know. Come on over. Sing it for me. Get it in the background. We'll start with a shot from Baltimore. We'll have a warm couple of days, even close to 90 tomorrow in New York City. But
I'm singing in the rain, just singing in the rain. What a
told you.
Glorious feeling. All right, go ahead.
Thank you so much, Mario. We're going to have more rain.
I hope
Let's
that
get
was
a check a little.
Not a rain dance.
Our friend Taron Egerton is with us. Cannot wait to talk to him. Coming up on GMA. We're so happy to have Taron Egerton back with us on Good Morning America. You know him, of course, from his Golden Globe winning portrayal of the one and only Elton John and Rocket Man. Fantastic film. The Kingsman, amazing movies. And now Taron starring in the new Apple TV Plus series Smoke as an arson investigator. And there's a lot to this. Take a look.
I was a fireman. Got trapped in a burning house, all alone. Then this other fire jock showed up, waved me toward him. I ran to him. Found out I was running to a mirror. Made it out with maybe 6 or 7 seconds before the roof caved in.
Taron joins us now.
Good morning.
Watch Good Morning. Watch the trailer because it's as good as a movie.
Oh, wow,
it really,
thanks.
It is
turned out
so
great.
moody, and I can't tell if you're a good guy or a bad guy in this.
Well,
I can't.
it's a funny position for me because I've got my orders from Apple. You know, it's like I'm the hero. You find me at the start of the show. I'm a good guy trying to do a good job of work. I'm hunting for 2 serial arsonists in a town in the Pacific Northwest. But what you very quickly learn is that I have a few little dark secrets of my own. This show goes quite strange quite quickly.
Oh,
which makes me want to watch it even more.
You had me at strange. In the pilot, we see you going through a burning house and not just a little fire.
Yeah.
And I was told that you did this with no special effects.
So Dennis Lehane, our showrunner, who I worked with on Blackbird 4 years ago, a prison drama that we had a great time making and went down really well. We're reuniting for this, and it's his second outing as showrunner, and he insisted that we do it all practically. So all the flames are real. It looks beautiful in the show. But yeah, it was a lot.
Are
so
you wearing protective gear?
Yeah, and all that breathing apparatus, it's all real. The crew was all wearing the same stuff because the fumes are poisonous. So yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is so much. Now, in kind of your press conversations about this, it may have come out that you may have, and is this true or not? Because I kind of saw something about it, that you may have accidentally started a fire, or is that...
This is not new.
This
is not new to you.
No, so like when I was about 18, I worked in my auntie's coffee shop in Aberystwyth. And I'm better now, but then I didn't really have much of a facility for preparing food. Like I was there for pizzazz. I was like Mario, entertaining the little old ladies and things, having a fun time. And meanwhile, all the things that I was supposed to be cooking would go up in flames. So yeah, but that's what that's about.
Okay, all right, good to know.
Professional experience.
So we can clear that up right
now. Just looking back at your wonderful career, Sam and I were just reminiscing how much we loved Rocket Man.
Oh, thanks.
And we were wondering, because you work pretty prolifically. Do you still remember all the songs? You sang everything in that film. Do you?
It's weird now. Like it's strange. If I'm in a taxi or something or an Uber, it's not 1995, Taron. If I'm in an Uber and like a song comes on, I get self-conscious. But that music is everywhere and it follows me around. But it was such an incredible episode of my life. I loved it. I still see Elton and David. It's an amazing thing to have been a part of. I
really amazing.
Really loved it. Yeah.
We love that. We have a little surprise
because
I don't know if you've heard the news. We're moving. You're here on our last week in Times Square. We're moving to a new studio down. Sorry about backstage.
I know
it's a mess back there.
So
boxes everywhere, but we did manage something.
Can we bring it out? Yeah, can we bring it out? Because one of our neighbors is Junior's Cheesecake, and I hear that Lara did this for you last time.
kidding me?
So here it is.
Guys,
We figured
this is such a beautiful thing.
And we have a to-go box
every
for
time
you.
I come on the show.
We do. We know you love cheesecake.
I love Junior's cheesecake.
Do we
It's
have
like
a fork or anything? Or is it no? We just bring it.
I'll just put my face in it. Wow. Maybe when you move studios, I can be like your cheesecake correspondent.
can. I
or
love
something.
that.
Your British cheesecake correspondent. Sounds good.
All for it.
Thank you, guys. That's
Thank you
beautiful.
so much.
Thank you so much
Smoke
for having
premieres
me.
on June 27th on Apple TV Plus.
You know, we told you that Taryn loved cheesecake. Not kidding. He's taking it to go, guys.
So long.